Hey, how's going guys? You are watching FreeCloud Gaming YouTube channel, and today in this video I am going to show you top 5 open world survival games for low-end PCs. And in order to run all the above 5 games at playable FPS, your computer must have at least 4 GB of RAM installed, a dual-core CPU, and no graphics card. And all the above 5 games will be listed randomly. So now let's get started after the intro. On number 5 spot we have Nether. Nether is a first-person multiplayer survival game. Nether is a first-person, multiplayer, survival game, where the player must survive in a landscape based loosely on Chicago. Players must scavenge the world for supplies and fight off the evil monsters that are hunting for them, known as the Nether. However, monsters are not the only danger to players. Players are also a danger to each other. Players can fight over items as well as territory. The player starts off just outside of the ruins of an unknown abandoned city, equipped only with a knife as a means of protection. As the player starts to explore the seemingly abandoned buildings in the city, they will encounter various new weapons that they can pick up and use. These include melee weapons, such as knives and swords, as well as firearms of different types. All firearms require specific ammunition, which is also found throughout the world. The player can store 8 items into a backpack, as well as separate slots for ranged, sidearm, and melee weapons, which the player can choose from the backpack to put into one of the slots as their active weapons. As the player explores more and more, they will start encountering money on the ground, which can be used to buy better weapons, as well as medications from a vendor found somewhere in the city. As the player explores more, they will eventually come across monstrous beings that seem to be the only inhabitants of the abandoned city. These creatures, known as the Nether, will track and hunt down the player and will do anything possible to kill them. Players can choose whether they want to collaborate and survive together, or fight against each other for the scarcely available resources. So definitely worth a try. On number 4 spot we have Reign of Kings. Reign of Kings is an action-adventure survival video game. In the game, struggle to survive in a harsh medieval world. Hunt wildlife, mine resources, build structures, and craft weapons and armor in order to protect yourself. In Reign of Kings we allow you to collect resources and craft a wide variety of items needed to build a vast and powerful kingdom. In addition to standard resources, you may compete over the ancient throne which resides in a throne room which overlooks the island. Melee combat system adds a gritty and visceral feeling to Reign of Kings that will allow players to become deeply immersed in a realistic and intense medieval survival experience. Players will have the ability to make war, or even capture and hold other players in order to get what they want. Each player will have the power to decide the fate of the kingdom, or choose to entirely forego the responsibility of ruling the kingdom and roam the land as a freeman. Players have the ability to capture, hold, and execute other players. In order to avoid severe grieving situations, players can hide a sharp stone or lockpick in their orifice. Players will have the ability to collect resources and to craft them into useful items or building materials. Additionally, the progression mechanic for being able to craft higher valued items will be reliant on upgrading production stations to a higher level. Production and refining stations can craft or refine items as long as there are resources available unless ordered to do otherwise. This allows the player the freedom to do other things while his kingdom remains productive. So definitely worth a try. On number 3 spot we have The Long Dark. The Long Dark is a first-person survival video game developed and published by Hinterland Studio. The Long Dark is a survival game set in an open-world environment and played from a first-person perspective. The game takes place in the frigid Canadian wilderness where the player assumes the role of a crash-landed pilot struggling to survive after a geomagnetic storm. There are 3 game modes available to the player: Story Mode, Survival Mode, and Challenge Mode. There are currently 11 regions in the game. These are named Mountain Town, Broken Railroad, Hushed River Valley, Bleak Inlet and Ash Canyon. The objective is for the player to survive as long as possible by scavenging and utilizing whatever resources they may find within the world. This includes commodities such as food, water, firewood, medicine, and tools such as weapons, axes, knives, and a myriad of other items. Wildlife is also present, such as deer which can be hunted for food, and wolves and bears which are a constant threat to the player as they venture outside. Tools and items degrade over time, forcing the player to make careful decisions regarding their condition and their eventual need for repair. Fire, being a primary component, is necessary for warmth and cooking. The player has to forage for wood and fuel on a regular basis to stay alive. The player can also get sick from food poisoning and disease. The long dark simulates a full day-night cycle which is a fundamental part of the game. The game also simulates temperature and wind chill, encouraging the player to monitor the weather carefully at all times to prevent death from exposure. So definitely worth a try. On number 2 spot we have Life is Feudal, Your Own. Life is Feudal, Your Own is a truly hardcore sandbox RPG with captivating survival aspects. Described as a real-life medieval simulator, which caters for up to 64 players on a 3 km by 3 km game world, any and all paths are an option. The game places you in a realistic feudal setting with the ability to host your own private world and set your own rules to suit your playstyle. There's an in-depth crafting system, a range of building features, and free terraforming across the map. You can build your own house anywhere in the world. Team up with your friends and build a village or city and repel attacks by other players who want to ransack your lands. Basic movements and directional attacks can be combined to create deadly combos with special harmful effects. Battle formations are also a new way to collaborate and control the situation on the battlefield with your fighting team. The skill and stat cap system allows you to design a character molded to fit your style perfectly. So definitely worth a try. On number 1 spot we have Dead Rising 3, believe me or not, but you can play this game without a graphics card. So Dead Rising 3 is an action-adventure survival horror video game developed by Capcom Vancouver and published by Microsoft Studios. In the game, players control new protagonist Nick Ramos in third person. Players' primary focus is to search for supplies and weapons in order to fight many undead and complete missions. Dead Rising 3 is set in a vast, open-world environment. Players have the ability to create combo weapons, but without the need for a workbench, allowing them to craft weapons on the fly. Dead Rising 3 also allows players to create combo vehicles, such as combining a motorcycle and steamroller to form a roller hog. Driving vehicles are a part of exploration, as players navigate the city of Los Perdidos. Players are able to discover and unlock blueprints for new combo weapons and vehicles. Dead Rising 3 offers 2-player cooperative gameplay. So definitely worth a try. So that's all for today's video guys. First of all, thank you so much for watching. And if you liked it, make sure to subscribe and press the bell icon and give this video a thumbs up to show your support on the video in numbers. And I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care of yourselves. Bye.